Now for more insight, we go to Rabbi Yaakov Menken, Executive Vice President at the Coalition for Jewish Values, and he joins us from Baltimore. Rabbi, thank you so much for your time. So let's start with your thoughts on these optics of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump meeting at the White House exactly 18 months since the October 7th terror onslaught. The headlines may have been about tariffs ahead of the trip, but the messaging was about a range of issues, including the Iranian threat. Your thoughts right now?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. And I think it is important to start by at least mentioning the tariffs, because Donald Trump has just placed tariffs on 60 nations around the world. And yet the first world leader with whom he wishes to meet to talk about those tariffs is Bibi Netanyahu. Israel's prime minister is first on the list, and this after the previous administration refused to meet with him. So it really tells you a great deal about what has happened to the U.S.-Israel relationship with the re-election of Donald Trump.
And when we specifically look at the details now, and you would have heard my colleague Mike Wagenheim talking about the Iranian threat, your sense on what was supposed to be reports around direct talks set to happen in Oman this weekend. As Mike was explaining, it looks like it would first be indirect talks and then perhaps later direct. Either way, Donald Trump choosing the diplomatic path first. Your sense, is that a good idea? Can Iran be trusted?
As much as Donald Trump wants to talk to them directly, I think he knows very well who the Iranians are. He started off with a series of not-so-veiled threats towards the Iranian regime if they don't back off from their efforts to acquire nuclear weapons. So I don't think this is going to be a friendly gathering of allied nations. I think he knows exactly what he's getting into. I think he knows the Iranians cannot be trusted. These are people who are demonic to their own people, much less the rest of the world. They're anxious to destabilize the world. And unlike every other nation that currently possesses nuclear weapons, the Iranians actually believe that if they cause mass death and destruction, that might be a benefit for the world and for themselves. That's a problem.
So if there isn't an outcome on these so-called diplomatic efforts, do you think it is likely we will see some kind of military strike against Iran's nuclear sites?
I can't tell you precisely what Trump will do. I would say we certainly shouldn't rule it out. He's made it much more likely than others, and he wants to make sure that he does it before the Iranians can respond with nuclear weapons, not after.
And Rabbi, let's turn our attention to this part of the world. It's exactly 18 months and 1 day since the war started. A war started by Hamas. 59 hostages are still in captivity, 24 of whom are believed to be alive, including one living American hostage, Eden Alexander. Now, families of the hostages literally crying out in recent days with the words, "Let my people go." As you well know, the festival of Passover starts this weekend. What is your sense on efforts to get all the hostages home? The festival of freedom is round the corner.
The horror here is that, of course, Hamas is both a genocidal terror organization and a group of extortionists. They're out to harm Israel. They're not out to do anything for benefit of Israel. So any one of these deals, they're trying to negotiate a deal now with the release of a ridiculous number of terrorists with blood on their hands. Let's not forget that the last time that Israel really overextended itself to release murderous terrorists in order to secure the release of a single innocent Israeli, the result was that they released Yahya Sinwar, the architect of October 7. So we have to be sure that whatever it is that Israel might agree to for release of the hostages, it doesn't lead us in that same direction once again.
Rabbi Yaakov Menken, we so appreciate you speaking to us, the Executive Vice President of the Coalition for Jewish Values, live from Baltimore. A very difficult festival of Passover coming up. Nonetheless, Chag Sameach to you, your family and your community. Thank you very much for being with us on i24 News.
Chag Sameach, it reminds us God is with us. Thank you.
Thank you.